Hello and welcome back to McLean's TV with me, Feargal Logan, and the big hot issue of debate, let's say, in Gaelic games certainly this week has been the whole fallout from Tyrone's successful under-21 victory against Tipperary by a single point at Parnell Park. On Saturday night, played in atrocious conditions. Tyrone edged it with a goal in the second half, which was the decisive score in a game that Tipperary could have easily have won. They had plenty of chances to win it, plenty of free kicks, which unfortunately for them went the long way. It was a compelling contest, fantastic game of football. Little bit of a shame that it has now been overshadowed by the fallout from the game, with Feargal Logan, the Tyrone manager, refused entry to the Tipperary dressing room after the game because Tipperary accused Tyrone of cynicism in the closing moments of the final. Interesting that up to the last few minutes, the free count was very much in favour. They were the team doing the fouling. It ended up 21 points each. Now, let's put it this way. Tyrone are a good team. Tipperary are a very good team as well too. Some fantastic footballers. As I said, they had their chances. But at the end, Logan was refused entrance to the Tipperary dressing room. The county board chairman, the football chairman, Joe Hannigan, later came out and said that Tyrone were involved in cynical football and that he didn't want Tyrone people near his dressing room. The thing about it is, you have to ask yourself, is cynical football, which is I suppose unsporting football, is it just in the last few minutes or is it throughout the game? Because there were incidents right throughout the game from both sides which the referee probably could have punished even more. There was a first half incident in particular where a Tyrone player was actually stamped on, but the referee didn't see it and there was no action taken about that. Not much talk about that. Is that cynical? I don't know if it was the first half, or can you only be cynical in the last 5 minutes? And then we also had the Tipperary manager, Toomey, who actually shook hands with Logan at the end, who said, we have a lot of lessons to learn out of this here. There's a certain way to play football, and Tyrone want to win matches again, let them be at it, but that's not the way we'll play. Almost adopting a superior approach as if Tipperary and these other teams aren't involved in anything that, let's say, could even be in the slightest bit construed as cynical. Look, this is Feargal Logan. Feargal Logan, Brian Durher, Peter Canavan. Canavan and Logan played in the All-Ireland final of 1995. They lost by a point in really controversial circumstances when Charlie Redmond was sent off, didn't go off. They got a point in the final seconds of the game to get a draw, but the referee said Canavan touched the ball on the ground. Referee interesting was Paddy Russell from Tipperary, but be that as it may. But Tyrone took their beating and went on. 2005, Logan came back as player manager with Stewartstown, and they lost their All-Ireland club title for Stewartstown as a player manager. Another gut-wrenching defeat. Tyrone took it. The bottom line is, Tipperary, the tradition in Gaelic games at the end of a match is that the managers go into each opposing dressing rooms and say words of comfort or say words of whatever they have to say, and Tipperary turned round and turned that tradition on its head. In one instance they talk about unsporting play, cynical play, etc. And what do? They compound it by using that unsporting effort at the end of a game. What a message are they sending out to those fine young footballers from Tipperary? In other words, one wrong makes a right. An eye for an eye, as John Hume used to say, leaves everybody blind. I just think it's dreadful. It just seems as if it's open season now, certainly on Tyrone football, northern football, as if it's only the northern footballers that are involved in all this so-called cynical play, and everybody else, oh, they're all perfect, they don't get involved in it. It's a real shame that Tipperary have allowed what was a fantastic game of football to be dragged into the mud. A game where sadly we saw the death of a spectator and a very severe illness for another spectator. And Feargal Logan's brother was the team doctor from Tyrone who went out and helped, along with so many other medics, to try and save that poor unfortunate Tipperary supporter. Maybe that should put it in the juxtaposition of what it is. But to stop Logan to go into a dressing room, a man whose credentials in Gaelic games are beyond reproach, a man who's now a lawyer by profession, and a man who in the past few years has looked after players, county boards, clubs who feel that they've been badly treated by the association when it comes to handing out punishment, and has fought the case in the case the fight for justice. And here's Logan being treated in such a shabby way. I think it's really, really poor form from Tipperary. I hope somebody down there will realise what they have done is put a real slur on the game. As for Tipperary learning lessons, as the manager and the chairman says, I have a few lessons for you lads. Wise up, grow up, and be like most teams. Take care, Peter.